This is a video for Lesson 19 Dialogue 2 and the 3 grammar points that are in the textbook for it. The first grammar point is using question pronouns as indefinite references. The equivalent of the question pronoun plus ever expression in English is formed by repeating a question pronoun in two separate but related clauses in the same sentence. The first occurrence refers to an indefinite person, object, time, or place, and the second occurrence then refers to that same person, object, time, or place. The main thing for this grammar is that the first occurrence and the second occurrence are referring to the exact same indefinite person, object, time, or place. So we're talking about the same thing. We aren't talking about two different things. So for example 1, 谁想去谁就去. Whoever wants to go can go. And if we translate this more literally, it'll be whoever wants to go, whoever can go. So if we sort of just mix that up and make it more understandable into English, whoever wants to go can go. And we have, for example, 2, 你吃什么我就吃什么. I'll have whatever you're having. More literally, whatever you eat is whatever I'll eat. So I'll have whatever you're having. Some more examples for the question pronouns as indefinite references grammar is 哪双鞋便宜就买哪双. Buy whichever pairs of shoes is cheapest. Example 4, 哪儿安静我去哪儿. I'll live wherever it's quiet. And for example 5, if someone asked you 他找谁帮他搬家具, who's he going to ask to help him move his furniture? You could answer and say 谁身体棒他找谁. He'll ask whoever is strong. The second grammar point for lesson 19 dialogue 2 is numbers and how we can group and read or say them correctly. So we already know numbers under the thousands. So we know the ones, 一, we know the tens, 十, the hundreds, 百, and we also know the thousands, 千. So in English, we use the Arabic number system where we sort of group off the digits into groups of 3. So we can see that down in the billions, we have 1, 2, 3, comma, 1, 2, 3, comma, 1, 2, 3, comma. However, in Chinese, they are not grouped into groups of 3. Instead, they are grouped into groups of 4 digits. So you can see here it's 1, 2, 3, 4, separate, 1, 2, 3, 4, separate, and then 1, 2. And you can see the difference in the graph. So if we are learning what we have already said, we would say maybe that 10,000 in English here. If we were to say it in Chinese, you might say that it is 十千, right? 10,000. However, that is incorrect. The correct way to say 10,000 in Chinese would be 1,000, okay? And we can see that 1 sort of follows the next 4 digits in this group. So 1, 2, 3, 4. This group of 4 digits right here. So we can see that they all end with 1, 1, 1, 1. So we have 1 for 10,000, and then 100,000 would be 1, and we can see that it's a 10 here, but it is in the 1 group. So for the next one, we see 100, but it's in the 1 group. So it would be 百万, and for the next one, 千万. And then here we are starting a new group of 4 digits. So the group would then change from 1 to 一 or 1, 1. So then the next one would be 十一 because it is in the 一 group. Numbers in Chinese can be a little bit confusing at first. I know it was, and it still kind of is a little bit confusing for me to figure out how to correctly say them. But I think if you just sort of look at this graph and you do your own practice during your own time, then numbers will come to you easy peasy. On this slide, we have 4 examples of how you can easily translate English numbers into Chinese. So for example 1, we have 12,345, and this is using English or the Arabic system. And if you sort of just translate that into Chinese and you separate it into the 4-digit groupings, it'll be 1 separate 2, 3, 4, 5. And when you are doing this, you kind of just read it out loud. Whenever you see the colon, that's where you put the measure word basically. So 1,2345 1,000,000 2,000,000 because this is already a group of 4. 345. For example 2, 25,000. Here we have 2 colon 5000. 2万 5,000. For example 3, we have 340,876. Translated into the Chinese groupings, it is 34 colon 0876. 34 34万 0 right here is the 0 0876. For example 4, we have 1,900,000 and changed into the Chinese groupings. We have 10, so 10. And since we are in the third group of 4-digit groupings, 1, 2, 3, it changes from 1 to 1. So we have 10 0 to say the zeros, 90,000. So the last part, we are just saying what we see. We are in the 1 grouping and we see a 90, so it's 91. So it looks a little bit daunting, but the translation for 1,900,000 would then just be 10,090,000 in Chinese. The third and last grammar point for Lesson 19 Dialogue 2 is comparative sentences using be. In sentences where be is used, numeral plus measure word combinations can be placed after the adjective to indicate a disparity in numerical terms. So what this is saying is that when we use be in a sentence, we are basically comparing two different things. So we can say maybe A is bigger than B, or C is more expensive than D. Maybe we have more of J than we have of K. And the structure that we use for be usually follows X, the first thing that we are comparing, plus B, plus Y, the second thing we are comparing, plus the adjective, plus the numeral, plus the measure word, plus the noun. So for example 1, we can say 我们班比你们班多4个学生. Our class is larger than yours by 4 students. Here, X, the first comparison we have is 我们班, our class, plus B, plus Y, 你们班, your class, plus the adjective 多, plus the numeral 4, the measure word 个, and the noun 学生. Our class is larger than yours by 4 students. 我们班比你们班多4个学生. For example 2, 我的房租比你的便宜500块. My rent is $500 cheaper than yours. Here, X, the first thing we are comparing is 我的房租, my rent, plus B, plus Y, 你的, yours, plus the adjective 便宜, plus the numeral 500, plus the measure word 块. And if you really wanted to, you could add the noun 钱, so 500块钱 at the end. However, you don't really have to. For example 3, we have 我表弟比我小3岁. My cousin is 3 years younger than I am. Here, the X is 我表弟, my cousin, plus B, plus Y, 我, me, plus the adjective 小, plus the numeral 3, and then plus the measure word 岁. 我表弟比我小3岁. My cousin is 3 years younger than I am. I hope that this video has helped you understand and better use numbers in your Chinese language learning and Chinese language speaking. And you can now also compare two different things when you want to.